If you want to get somewhere fast, let's say we're going between Cannes and Saint-Tropez, there's a beach party we've got to get to, 26 knots, this thing's off and flying. You can almost get a whole season on a tank.
Every single captain says that it's a beautiful place to cruise.
Don't be fooled by the chess set. We put a big balloon wall on the whole back of the boat.
You are really that devoted to this boat.
Oh yeah, like that. Yeah, no, we get into it. You've got to. My name's James, I'm the captain of the yacht. From New Zealand, great country.
Oh.
So yeah, about the engines, we mainly do cruise at 10 knots. That is the most economical speed for the boat, and that we find and that is very quiet. If I turn the engines on right now, you almost wouldn't know they're going. So we've had special insulation put between where we're sitting right now in the engine room, I think extra double layer. And then underway, the sound doesn't actually change too much. The fuel economy at 10 knots, we would be using around, if I included the generators, around 80 litres an hour for both engines and a generator.
That's really good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So you get at obviously 10 knots, you get 240 nautical miles a day, and you're using 8 litres an hour.
Impressive.
Yeah.
And you've been a captain from the delivery, or even you've been participating in delivery?
No, I took over halfway through.
Okay.
So when the boat came to New Zealand 2 years ago, obviously we had restrictions coming into the country because of coronavirus, and that's when we jumped in.
Yeah.
So and then they seem to love us for some reason. I don't know why, but so we've stayed with them since then. And obviously, yeah, they've sort of often they want us to stay on with other jobs and all that, which is quite exciting. If we go back, so when we go to full speed, if you want to get somewhere fast, let's say we're going between Cannes and Saint-Tropez, there's a beach party we've got to get to, 26 knots, this thing's off and flying, where you get to a fuel consumption of 840 litres an hour. So it does jump up, but in a short burst, you're there in 20 minutes.
But
not too much.
4 hours to Corsica, it's really impressive.
Yeah, oh yeah, it can boogie. So this boat holds a total of 17,000 litres of fuel, and look, depending on where you go, if you're cruising everywhere at 10 knots, you can almost get a whole season on a tank, if you know what I mean. Yeah. It depends on how busy the guy is or the lady on what they want to do, but it's yeah, with that it's great. And obviously right now you've got the generator running, you can hardly hear it, that burns 10 litres an hour.
And which boat you've been working before?
So I was commercial for 12 years.
Okay, so it's your first...
it's my first
yacht.
super yacht.
Okay.
Yes, but I've done vessels up to 50 metres commercial.
Okay.
So I've been all around Australia, New Zealand, Middle East, doing oil and gas, offshore exploration, movies, worked on a few movies with Jason Statham. So yeah, a bit of fun.
And how do you like Europe after New Zealand?
Oh, Europe's good, but New Zealand's good as well. New Zealand's pretty good. You got to bring a boat. This thing in New Zealand was beautiful.
And with this boat, theoretically, can you go to New Zealand?
So this boat went to New Zealand,
really?
But it got transported there because the owner is from New Zealand.
Okay.
So when they took delivery, they did some cruising here, and then they shipped the vessel to New Zealand. They used her there, and then she came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy process. It was very easy.
On a ship. Yeah. So it didn't put a lot of stress or a lot of hours on the engines.
Yeah. So by the way, this type of transportation, it's very similar to Caribbean, because I think it's the same difference summer and
the boat normally it's the same boat that goes, just carries on to New Zealand.
Yeah.
So and
no, I mean this, you have in New Zealand the same type winter. Summer.
Oh yes, yeah. So right now it's just coming into winter.
New Zealand, is it a good place for yachting?
Beautiful. It's New Zealand's still.
I never heard that anybody would go.
New Zealand's still quite new in the yachting aspects. Like it's not like, I'm not going to say it's Saint-Tropez.
Yes.
It's not like that. But if you wanted to come to New Zealand and you wanted to see like the big fjords, untouched scenery, beautiful white sandy beaches that there's no one on, that's when you come to New Zealand, because there's not boats like this. There's a few big boats, don't get me wrong, but you can go into a lovely bay, anchor up, and it's dead still, and you can hear the birds, and it's beautiful. I love it, as you can see.
A lot of the bigger yachts in our fleet, so 60, 70, 80 meters, 100 meters, so when they do go on world tours, they obviously stop in New Zealand, and every single captain says that it's a beautiful place to cruise because you have obviously beautiful scenery, but not so many yachts as well. So here, obviously, when you're on the Riviera, the Mediterranean, you arrive in a beautiful bay, and then maybe you're alone for 20 minutes, you know, and then you have, and then you're fighting for your space. So obviously, it's a beautiful place, but in the high season, it's crowded, you know. So if you like that crowd, it's great. But New Zealand offers, you know, unrivaled nature, I think, and a sort of sense of discovery that a lot of the Mediterranean doesn't.
It's pretty cool. Hey, have a Google like Milford Sound in New Zealand, and it's like, I kid you not, there's like between us and that boat there would be a mountain like this, and it's like maybe the water depth from the land to here is 300 meters within so close. You can drive boats right up to the bank. It's crazy.
Really impressive.
Yeah.
Hopefully COVID would disappear and we would have a chance to travel.
I think they're opening up now. I know New Zealand is.
Yeah.
I mean,
next month.
It's a bit risky and to go that far away.
Yeah, you get stuck. It'll open up again fully soon, hopefully.
So was there any other questions in regards to the technical, to the engine side of things?
Yeah, if you can just tell a few things.
We've got the Williams diesel jet tender, which is excellent, and then we've got also the Yamaha jet ski, which is excellent. They are on what we call like a cradle system. It's not an overhead system. This is more like a trailer cradle system where the side of the door opens up, and then you just got a remote control that you can sort of just push, the whole mechanism pushes out and then lifts up, and then you've got a wire that sort of releases the tender. And that seems to work really well. It's the crew have sort of had no issues with it, and that tender we use it quite a bit for the owners taking them on runs or walks, especially into places where there's no dock access. So if they're going for a remote walk along the beach or something, we'd use that tender. But we do also have, I'm not sure if you've actually said it, but we do have a Van Dutch tender that follows us. So we've got a big 12-metre tender that comes with us. And so they use that to ferry themselves from the boat to a party and back. And it is a beast. Have you seen some photos of it? It's a cool boat. It's got the sound system in it. Oh yeah, you get the bass going, and it's like the margies are going, and it's really good. I suppose like other technical things like the water, we hold, I think it's just on 3,000 litres of water, and it's about the same with black and grey water. So the capacity is pretty good. We have a water maker on here that makes up to 290 litres an hour at full power. So that can usually keep up with, when there's a full boat load, it can sort of keep up. When there's only half the people on board, it's more than enough. You run it for a few hours a day, and that's absolutely fine.
Tell us a bit about some of the, you know, the hosting capacities, entertaining. I mean, you can have parties on the top deck there with, you know.
Oh, you can definitely have parties. So these guys, the guys that love it, they love parties, and so we've had.
So it's not only for the chess, for silent elderly people playing.
You know what? I've actually never seen that used. Okay, I think it's more. So don't be fooled by the chess set. Okay, this boat has had some good parties, and so if we talk back to the America's Cup, massive event. Okay, we had 30 people on this boat. Almost every time there was we had musicians, we had mixologists. You see the bar up top, how big that is.
Yeah.
It's a big bar. So you can get 2-3 people behind there just pumping the drinks out.
Cocktails.
Okay, and you've got the sound system through the whole boat that's linked currently. And you ramp this thing up, you've almost got to get the other generator going because it's sucking so much power. It's a good system. And so we with 30 people, most of the parties with 30 people, it would never felt cramped. Not once. Because you've got the whole upper deck. Okay, and then you've got people down here, you've got people outside, you've got people on the bow. So really, there's so many entertaining spaces on board, there's no problem with the number of people on board. So you have a musician on board. We held the chief stew. We did this massive big baby shower party for one of the owners' friends. And so we put a big balloon wall on the whole back of the boat, and that created a whole lot of privacy while in port. So there's things like that we do all the time. And the chef pumps the food out, like nibbles, and the girls are coming around, and we even get us guys up there, we're all doing cocktails and serving it, so it is a good time.
It's really impressive.
So
you are really that devoted to this boat.
Oh yeah, we get into it. You've got to.
And I assume the passengers also love that.
And so the reason I'm just talking to a few other people as well, like the owners love the crew to interact with the guests to a certain degree.
Can you tell us the age of the owner, just to understand?
About you say middle to young, like 40, 50.
So it's not for really elderly people, so it's for...
No, I mean, I would say it has the stability and comfort for an older owner and guests, but, you know, I think it's more of a younger boat. I mean, it's definitely the design and...
While still you're interested in parties and...
Exactly,
and jacuzzi and girls. And you still can consume drinks.
And there's a sound system, you know, for the older as well, so they can hear it.
That gives additional advantage,
exactly.
additional added value.
Added value.
But like you could be having a 30-person party one night, and the next day they could be sitting here with a glass of red wine watching a film, or even sitting in the jacuzzi with the film pointed towards in the jacuzzi, and that's what this boat can offer. It can offer the luxury of guests coming on and being wowed, and then it also can offer.
And I understood this boat never been chartered.
Just the two owners.
Private.
But it might be the situation that the person who would buy this, he would convert it to the commercial. Do you need to make any additional investments to convert it to the, or it's already...
that one.
Yeah, I mean, we can investigate if someone, depending on the flag, depending on how...
But still, I assume it would not be really...
I mean, the vessel is built on a platform where it's able to be commercial. So we would have to look at everything that needs to be changed from this boat to make it commercial. It is possible.
I do also know, don't quote me on this, but I do believe there's also some flag states that allow you to have, it's a private vessel, but then you could have maybe 20 days of commercial, and that makes it a bit easier.
That's extremely popular in Monaco. I just been at the conference.
The Yacht scheme.
They were telling,
the Yacht scheme.
Who was that through? What flag state was that through?
That's a.
No, by the way, there are several different flags who are offering some different. Depends on how long you need it for, which region you are going.
But the Yacht scheme is you have to start in Italy or France.
So you have to cross at least to cross. You are not able just to go in between Saint-Tropez and Nice. You have to go to Italy.
Thank God it's not that far away up here. It's pretty, like New Zealand, you might have to go like days and days to get somewhere else. Here it's literally like half an hour, you can be somewhere else. So, but I suppose you've explained that everything on this boat was the platinum of everything.
This is the highest possible option list, plus more. I mean, you can see it. It really feels. Everything feels expensive, and I mean the onyx is everywhere.
Onyx is really impressive.
Onyx is everywhere, and I'm sure Max has said, like, obviously an Azimut is a production boat, but this is a one-of-a-kind Azimut boat. You will not find this boat anywhere else. Like the spa pool was custom, the seating at the back was custom, the little headrest on the bow was custom. These tables are custom. They wanted to use every part of the boat in every different aspect. Like instead of having little coffee tables out there, which what they were presented with to start off with, they put those lovely big tables there, and that's a whole other dining experience. And there's a table that can, those middle bits come out, and there's a whole other section you can put in. So that's a full, you can fit, 10 people there, 10, 11, 12 people dining table right there. Up top we've had, I think, 13, 14 sitting around up top. That's a lot of people. There's a lot of cosmos going when there's 14 people up there. The girls just don't stop. So, it's even the navigational system. Everything's platinum. The top of the range. So,
that's really impressive boat, and I think it's a really good opportunity to buy almost new boat without any headache of
Better than new. Better than new.
Yeah, and I think you're right when you say that, because we've had people on here who have been out, like for example, the girls. So you open up the cupboards up in the bar, everything's been custom. Like we've got a whole lot of perspex pre-made for all the glasses. Everything. So we found there was when we first got it, we were like, okay, we're going to need a few more places to store things. We do parties all the time. So we've put in all the cupboards, you open them up, there's perspex sitting in there. You've got shot glasses, you've got champagne glasses, you've got Cosmo glasses. Everything that for a party boat needs, this has got. Set up, ready to go. So
Great. Well, thank you very much, James.
that's okay.
And
That's right.
we shall do our best to help you to sell the boat. And we would suggest to the buyer to keep you as a captain, as you're a really impressive captain.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.